Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the TF Cast. I'm Willis.
Hey, Grum here. It is March 13th, and we are at Paddlefish Brewing.
And I'm your host, Jacob Bases. Today, we are at Paddlefish Brewing with Dave Long and Eric Johnson. We're here to talk about the new brewery, the beers, and what's got you all in this business. So if one of you just want to kick it off with, what are we doing here today?
Oh, sure. Would love to kick it off. We are thrilled to be on this wonderful podcast, and Eric and I have been we've just been dreaming about this moment for a long time. But we have been the kind of kicking off this Paddlefish idea since August of 22, and we opened January 10th of this last year. So we just passed our 2-month anniversary. And I am, just to kind of give you a little background, I'm one of the co-owners and taproom manager, marketing guy, I wear a lot of different hats. Eric, why don't you?
Yeah, so I'm Eric Johnson. I'm one of the other owners. So there are three of us, and we'll talk about Luke here in a sec. But my responsibilities for the business are to do kind of the behind-the-scenes business stuff. I spend a lot of my days on spreadsheets. Crunching numbers and all that stuff, and kind of a bridge between the back of the house, the brew and manufacturing side of things, and the front of house under the direction of good old Dave here. But we're missing our head brewer, Luke Dragseth, who couldn't be here today, but he's the third owner who, as the title suggests, is in charge of all things in the brew room.
Sure. So what 2022, what had you getting in the idea to open a brewery around that time?
Ooh, yeah, good question. So I'm going to leave that one to Eric, since you kind of conceived the idea here.
Yeah, I can start with that one. So yeah. I am a Gusty. I was up on the hill. I graduated in 2023, so last year. And when I was there, one of my best friends, good buddies, was Luke, who I just talked about, the head brewer. So Luke grew up in Milwaukee, and so he'd been around beer his whole life, and brewing beer runs in his family. But he also studied yeast, Decastavis, in the biology department, and water quality in the environmental studies department.
Cool.
And so through those two studies, among other things, he really kind of got to understand the science behind the beer beyond just the more practical making of the beer.
He's what we call a yeast beast.
He has a yeast beast. He loves yeast more than anyone else I know. It's very weird. But anyway, yeah, so Luke and I were great friends throughout our time there. We sang in the choir together. We were both tenor ones, and so we spent a lot of time with each other.
Give us one of those high notes.
Oh,
Let it rip.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, so Luke and I, in the August 2022, so right before our senior year, we were like, you know what? There should be a brewery in St. Peter. Like, why the heck does St. Peter not have a brewery? Yeah. It's a college town, and it's a very tight-knit community. It's busy, and it's a medium-sized town, and so we thought that the opportunity was there. And Luke has again been homebrewing for a long time, and so we knew the product was there. And so, we were kind of joking around about it for some time, but in August 2022, when we was like, you know what, we should actually do this. Like, that would be a really cool and fun project for us. And project probably doesn't quite get at what it is, but
Yeah.
And so, yeah, from that moment on, we were all over the place, running around in St. Peter and doing research and figuring out what this might look like. And about a month into that process, we realized that we were missing a pretty key component, and that is someone with a little bit more front of house experience and someone who's not 22. And so Dave and I have known each other our whole lives, and so I knew he was big into the brewery industry, and I knew that he was a great face for the company. And so we reached out to him about a month into the process, and the three of us have been working together to get this thing going ever since then. And as Dave said, we started early January of 2024.
Dave, what was your first thought hearing about this? Like,
oh gosh,
a brewery coming to St. Peter. You got some young guys trying to get it going. What was that like?
It was a little bit of all the feels, really. So I had just got done talking with my girlfriend about dream jobs about maybe 5 days before I got this call, which and we were talking about dream jobs, and I said one of my dreams has been and would be to open a brewery, and that I kind of had figured that ship had sailed once all the breweries, especially in the cities, had started opening up in about 2014, 2015, because I homebrewed for about 4 or 5 years up until that point. And so I was like, well, that's not going to happen. And I knew at the time I was finishing up my job in northern Minnesota, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing after that. And literally, it was like 2 days later, I look at my phone. I'm like, Eric Johnson. I haven't talked with him in a little while. Y'all answer, and I answered, and he's like, how would you like to, what do you think about opening a brewery in St. Peter? I'm like, oh my God.
Did it just click kind of right away? You're
Yeah,
like,
I was
okay,
like, yeah. And I was like, let me think about it. Yeah, let's do it. So
It was about a 5-10 minute conversation, and by the end of it, you were committed. So,
yeah. And then when I was going to bed at night, I'm like, I've made a huge mistake, or like, oh no, I'm super excited, but it's like, what have I just signed myself up for, kind of thing. Like this is going to be a life changer. So no, it was a long time coming. Just hearing that question and knowing that the market for breweries right now is in these areas in these smaller towns that don't have one and have a college campus.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, gosh, how is there not? Yeah, like Eric was saying, how is there not a brewery in St. Peter? And we've heard that from a ton of people coming in the brewery. Like, I don't know how there wasn't a tap room, a brewery here before. So
St. Peter seems pretty motivated to make things happen in St. Peter too. I don't know. I hear ideas like get pitched, and then they say, "Oh, there's interest from the city," and then it happens. I mean, that's just like thinking from being in Mankato, where there's always ideas, but it seems like there's always stuff happening in St. Peter.
Yeah.
Are you both longtime St. Peter residents?
So I actually grew up in Painesville, Minnesota, which is over by the St. Cloud area. But I'm a third generation Gusty, and so both my parents went here. All my aunts and uncles, my grandma, all my cousins, both of my siblings, and so
Cool.
we're all big Gusties too, like kind of that annoying rah family. So we came to St. Peter a lot growing up and spent a lot of time here. So my connection is more so through Gustavus, but now I feel much more like a townie.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't know, and it kind of feels like a pass-through town, but once I started to like really meet the art scene and some of the small business owners in the area, there's so much going on up here. It's almost like just as much as Mankato. And the other thing about this town is the community is really tight-knit. Like I see we do a lot of events at the park and with the art center, and I just see so much support from this town. Has that kind of been your guys' experience so far?
Oh yeah. We've had this incredible amount of support, so much so that we've been running out of beer pretty frequently here the last couple months that we've been open. Yeah. But yeah, I not having to answer your question too, Jacob, not originally from here. I'm from the cities and would drive through here on my way to Pipestone with my family growing up. My dad's grew up in Pipestone, so I remember driving through here, especially right after the tornado. I know it was. I still have like this ingrained vision of driving through here when I was in like 4th grade when that happened, and pretty wild, like ingrained memory there, but connected with Gustavus in the sense that I know a lot of people that have gone there, and I've known Eric since he was pooping in his diapers. And, So, but yeah, I mean the amount of support we've had has just been truly phenomenal, and and we have a lot of locals that have kind of made their themselves members here. And then we also have just a ton of traffic, from the cities to Sioux Falls, people driving through that see the tap room and stop in. So it's a really good combination of locals and also people that are driving to and from places. So
I mean, you can feel the connection even just kind of like when you're looking at the menu here. Like, for example, we haven't talked at all about what we're drinking, but I think both Willis and I right now are drinking coffee from River Rock Cold Brew.
Yes,
That they have on tap here. And the menus for food, which is walking from just down in a caddy corner that are here. I mean, you can talk more about it, but it seems like there seems to be a lot of cooperation just even on what's being served here.
So that's one of our biggest core values, and one of the things that we pride ourselves the most in and have the most fun with is working with, like we've talked about, the vibrant community members here. I mean, this place is hopping right now, and there's so much talent and there's so much passion, and it's so fun. But yeah, to talk about what you were saying, Jacob, we have cold brew from River Rock, but that's just the start of it. I mean, River Rock makes all of our simple syrups for our seltzers and our mocktails too, and they're delicious. People have been really big into them, and so that's another fun partnership. And then, like you said, we don't do food here. We have some snacks, but we allow and very much encourage people to bring in food from local establishments. In fact, we give a $1 discount on beer if people bring in food from a local establishment. Awesome. So we have Great Wall next door. They'll deliver here for free. We have Jake's Pizza across the way. They'll deliver here for free. And then 3rd Street and Patrick's, they'll deliver here for a small fee. And then, of course, you can always bring in food from the co-op or from
Get a little
Wing Kings
hot bar sandwich.
That's
over
right.
there.
That's right. Oh,
Co-op a lot.
I eat there very frequently. Like it's not, like 5 times a week, I think. Seriously, it's so good.
My girlfriend's a gallerist across the street at the art center, and every time I visit her, I go.
oh yeah.
I was gonna say earlier when we were talking about like St. Peter and Mankato generally, I would say that like my like desire to travel to get something for St. Peter is about as willing as I am to go to River Hills Mall. Like if I would like Madison Avenue for me, I dislike being on it on such a level. But like if I can gonk out on the highway for 10 minutes and listen to a tune, that's
Did you say gonk out?
Gonk out.
you heard it
What
here.
does that look like?
Gonk out. You also said caddy corner before.
Yeah.
Do you guys say caddy or kitty corner?
Yeah, I'm interested.
I've
in
always
that.
said kitty corner, but
I think it's caddy.
I think it can be both. I was just
Sure. Don't tell I just switched my insurance. Don't tell them I'm gone on the highway. You're like, do you take something for that? No. Maybe we should talk a little bit about what, like I recognize the cold brew coffee, but we got a bunch of beers and other things about here. Why don't we talk about?
Well, they brought up your mocktail already. You want to take a sippy of that?
So I'm not a drinker at this moment today in my life. So I got their number one cocktail, mocktail, which is beautiful. It has some kind of green thing on here.
So a thyme sprig.
Yeah.
Sprig.
That's some microgreens, okay?
It is, yeah.
That's how you know they classed it up.
And I'm gonna take my first ever sip right now.
Make the sip really loud in the microphone. Oh, there's some ASMR right there.
Nice. That's really
Oh yeah, you can. The green and the flavor, not micro. I can tell you that.
Whoa.
There is that is a tasty.
This is the only brewery that I know of in town with the microgreens.
It's a very pretty mocktail.
So yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
is,
lavender, thyme, and blueberries, and club soda. So
Classic.
the lavender thyme is what comes from River Rock, as
Yep.
does actually the garnishes. So
Yeah.
and that's
It's the
for those who
lavender.
don't know, mocktails are non-alcoholic, obviously. But
I feel like in a little bit I'm going to be putting my fingers down there trying to get those blueberries out.
let me get one of those.
Heck yeah. And then we also have some flights of beer here.
Yes, we do.
If we want to talk about those guys a little bit.
Yeah, we have this beautiful flight in front of us of I believe the APA on the way left. That's our almost capital.
It looks
APA.
way too similar to West Coast.
It does look very similar. And if you get the
You
almost
said it's APA?
APA, American Pale Ale.
Okay.
Sorry. West Coast. Ben in the back. Thank you. They do look very similar. So West Coast is first. And that one is our Mountain Mama. If you get the reference there, anybody get the reference? Mountain Mama?
Oh, yeah, like from the song.
Right, but who sings it?
Wait,
Take me home.
that's is,
I don't know.
I think that's Billie Eilish.
Yeah, Billie Eilish, yeah.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Our cultural correspondent.
What is it?
It's John Denver.
John Denver, there we go, yeah. Gosh, the name was escaping me.
I always get them
Like, oh, crap.
confused.
Yeah.
Those two are always mixing up in my head.
They both have the pillow fight video.
Yeah.
It's honestly.
He married his first wife in St. Peter.
Oh,
Annie, that's Annie's song.
She's a LeSueur native, but yeah, they married in St. Peter.
In St. Peter, you'll see that we have a connection with all of our names and
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
cool.
He played at Gustavus often because of that connection too. And
Cool.
Still plays here. He was playing at Paddlefish just before we
right.
started.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
He's just plucking away back there.
Rip.
R.I.P.
and then what was the second one in?
Then we've got the porter, First Apostle Porter. And
It feels really dark for a porter. Or wait, he's going from the other way. No,
Porters are dark beers. but-
porters are dark.
For some reason, I never connected that in my head.
Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, the Mountain Mama Porter, First Apostle Porter there.
The porter is delicious.
And the First Apostles, St. Peter.
Biblical
That's
pun.
people, yeah, we like that one. And that one, so we really like the porter. Porter is, it's very nutty, a little bit of chocolate, a little coffee to it, but it's not like a sit in your gut, like gut rot type of beer. Like it's nice and easy drinking. People really like that you could have a few and not
Even one.
Not,
Sometimes
or
it's
have
hard
just
for a
one.
dark beer.
Yeah, it's not super heavy.
Exactly.
That's what. Yeah,
It's not like drinking a meal, but it's still got that like rich, dark flavor. It's
Not
really,
like
really good.
Not like a Guinness, where it's
Yeah.
like a meal. And then we have the Almost Capital APA there. That's our American Pale Ale. And as you may have heard, St. Peter was almost the capital
Oh, yeah.
before
Back
St.
when?
Paul. Yeah, there was. I've looked at the story about this, and it was like just one little conversation or something around here when it was all happening. That just it was like someone signed a paper or something like that, and all of a sudden it wasn't.
So you have
It was that close to becoming the capital.
You have the paper up above you right there too, and you can probably read the story that's on our photo wall. But this photo wall also pays homage to the history of St. Peter, which is such a, rich history and cool history and fun history for a town like this. But yeah, so most of the pictures behind us are somehow connected to our beer, and both of those are obviously connected to the history in some capacity for our 8 flagship beers at least.
And
So
people love the fact that we were an old Red Owl grocery store. Like people go absolutely ham for Red Owl.
There we go.
And that was one of our first beers that we posted on social media, and everyone on like Facebook was just like, my dad was the cashier, and my mom was, she bagged the grocery, something along those lines.
That's awesome.
the whole town, I feel like, worked here at some point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
seriously, it's unbelievable. We have a picture.
That's one of my favorite pictures,
of what the old Red Owl looked like, and people are like, "Oh, I recognize
And
that."
people, there's like it's a following. Like you go on Facebook, there's a Red Owl like fan page, and people are
That's
like
nuts.
constantly. It's not just like one person
Are there
posting
still
once
open
every.
ones?
No, so they were bought out by Super Value back in like the early '80s, but
sure.
people love like the branding, and so we have a sign of Red Owl.
Where do you
and-
get that big owl sign on the side there? That with the eyes.
yeah, no kidding.
That would be it.
A guy came in real quick. A guy came in the other day and said that his dad owned a Red Owl grocery store, and they have that. Like
They've got it.
They've
That
got
thing
it in their
looks big.
basement.
That was
yeah,
like
that's like a 20
6
foot
by 8
Yeah,
large
very large
owl
Red
face
Owl
on the
staring
side.
at
Or
you.
yeah, that's cool.
I honestly, I've never heard of Red Owl Groceries, but there's a Mankato band called Rad Owl.
I was
that
just about to
uses
ask this.
the similar eyes.
Yeah.
We know some of the guys in that band.
Yeah, I bet you that is what they're after.
Yeah, no, it has to be because they're probably like, I want the spelling error crowd as well as.
Is that a quiz?
I feel like that's a whole search demographic. Like, I want people who are genuinely interested and also some people who are just making
The
spelling errors.
accidental, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the did you want
Keep going through the beers,
might
yeah.
as well. Yeah, our Jolly Giant Hazy. This one has been very, very popular. It's a delicious hazy, and driving on 169, you see
Oh yeah,
the Giant,
giant.
Steve, whatever. his
Entrance
name
to
is.
the river valley. Which
Is this
I don't
name
know.
Steve?
Or Mike. I don't know.
It's really Mike.
It's Mike Long.
Mike Johnson.
The two owner-operators of Paddlefish Brewing. We are here with Mike Long and Eric.
We were so close.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we were so close.
Start over. Alrighty, we are go.
Dave Long.
Dave Long and Eric. Dave Long and Eric Johnson.
That's hilarious. Last time it was Mike Johnson. This
Yeah.
time there's
Mike
got to be a
Long.
Mike. There's
Yeah.
got to be.
Yeah, where's
Well,
Mike at?
Start recruiting.
Eric Johnson.
I'll be Mike. Hey, welcome. This is Mike. All right, Willis. We are going 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the TF Cast. I'm Willis.
Hey, Grum here. It is March 13th, and we are at Paddlefish Brewing.
And I'm your host, Jacob Basis. Today with us, we have owner-operators of Paddlefish Brewing, Dave Long and Mike Johnson. Did I do it again?
Yep.
Mike isn't here.
Mike isn't-
Mike
there is
isn't
No
here.
Mike. There is no Mike. in this.
Dave Long and Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
That's who we are here with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna. Think guitar players.
Triple Balls is a media and event production company based in southern Minnesota. We specialize in multicam live streaming and sound and lighting for event productions. Contact us today to learn more or subscribe online to join our newsletter and stay up to date about events and things going on in the area. Thanks for tuning in. Back to your show.
Mike Johnson and Mike
for
Long.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a really nice fruity note to it. Is that what makes something a hazy? I'm not
That's the
putting-
West Coast you're drinking up there. I think the hazy's out.
We're out of the hazy right now.
Oh,
But you're either
okay.
drinking the West Coast or the American Pale
but
Ale.
we're probably
again.
drinking the West Coast.
the Mountain Mama.
Yeah. But my personal favorite is probably the Mountain Mama or the Jolly Giant. Just delicious. But yeah, the Jolly Giant, you're going to get those citrus notes. And I think we use Mosaic. Pretty common to use Mosaic and Citra, I think, are the two that we use.
I don't know. We're not the brewers. We're not the
I believe that's a Luke, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
You used to be a homebrew guy. Do you
Yeah.
do you mix in with that? And
a little bit. I mean, I like to know what's going on back there and what kind of malts they're using and hops and all that. But when you brew on this type of scale, it's a little different.
But it's great for, like, you definitely have a much better palate than me in terms of evaluating the beer.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole brew team has developed good palates at this point, but having someone who's kind of away from that and doesn't taste it throughout the whole brewing process is really nice. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a huge advantage of having you
Yeah.
have done.
And
lots of home brewing.
there's I think 212 or 214 breweries in Minnesota now, and one of my goals after I stopped home brewing was to go to all the Minnesota breweries, and so being able to see what each brewery is doing in terms of aesthetic and also what they're brewing, building up that palate is kind of where I was able to do that in addition to home brewing. So
how far did you make it into that number?
I have been stalled out at like 150 for the last few months. We're kind of like in that area now where it's like you got to go all the way to International Falls or like way up by Fargo.
I just got to my 100th last weekend.
Dang, you're catching up.
I know. Better watch out, dude.
Get myself. When I started in 2014, there were only like 80 breweries. And so it's just like I've been a rabbit chasing a carrot the whole time. So.
Yeah.
Sure, and they come, like, I heard a bunch about breweries in the cities, like some of them basically in the last year like closed.
Yeah.
So there's some of A and some of B going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, in 2014, 15, all those breweries, it became what I figured oversaturated. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. with some of these breweries closing down, which is unfortunate because, I mean, in general, the brewing community is super supportive of other breweries opening. I mean, we may be somewhat of an exception because there's not a ton of breweries within the immediate,
Yeah.
But even
area,
still, I mean,
but-
we've like Jim Perico at Locale was Luke's professor, and I mean, we've partnered with them. And
Yeah. He's a friend of the show.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Oh.
And Chris at Mankato Brewery has Luke's run a few brew days with him as he was trying to learn how to manage a commercial brewing system. And I mean, that's just the beginning of the list. I mean, we went to Wasika and Gibbon, and I know the Sleepy Eye people, and I mean.
There's a brewery opening in Jordan. Ryan and Amanda are opening.
Yep.
Jordan, Jordan
on top
Brewing.
of the Brew
the
d'Etat
Brew d'Etat
one.
that's there. But yeah.
And so the list just go. I mean, it's such a supportive industry, which makes it so fun and makes it hard to see people closing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
a big part of it probably has to do with like picking the right size brewery for the right size location, which leads to my next question: is how much beer are you making here, and like what's the overall vision for like long term with Paddlefish?
Well, we aren't brewing enough is the short answer to that.
Oh, that's changing, and we'll talk about that. But yeah.
No, we started with a 5-barrel system, electric, and we have...
So, what is a 5-barrel system for those who?
Yeah, so a
don't know?
5-barrel system is when you brew a batch, layman's terms, you get about 10 kegs from that batch, and a keg usually pours about 120 pints. So that's the very, very quick math
So,
on
155 gallons per batch
Yep.
is what we're operating at.
And so we have been, we have our 8 flagship beers, and we have been kind of operating from anywhere from 2 to 4 beers the last, couple of months, but
On tap at one time.
on tap at one time. Yep. And so to alleviate that problem, we bought a couple of 10-barrel fermentation tanks, and
Yeah, I can talk about that.
yeah.
So with our 5-barrel system, we had 4 fermenters, and a beer spends anywhere from a week to 2 weeks in the fermenter, while the yeast ferments.
Is that like early in the process or is that later?
So it goes as soon as the brew day's done. So a brew day takes 8 hours, and then as soon as a brew day's done, it goes into the fermenter where it sits for anywhere from a week to 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we have 4 fermenters, so we can have 4 beers bubbling away at any time, or we did. And then recently, as Dave said, we got 2 10-barrel fermenters. They're the big new tanks in the back of the brew house, and that actually doubled our capacity because 10 barrels is obviously double the size of 5, and we got 2 of those. So that allows us to get 80 kegs in the fermenters at one time, and actually we have another bright tank, it's called, which we don't need to go into that, but that's full right now. So currently we have 90 kegs worth of beer in the brew house right now, which I calculated yesterday, and that's probably about how much beer I'll drink for the rest of my life. I mean, it's
Dang.
just so much beer.
probably
And-
more beer than you.
yeah, no, it's crazy. And so hopefully that helps us get in the clear. We're projected to have 8 different styles on tap on next Wednesday, which is just like, we can't even believe that.
Yeah,
because we've had like 2 to 4, and it's
Oh, so
like,
this is
not fun.
This is like this next week is
Yeah.
when you're going to be bringing out all this new stuff.
Yeah.
Good
so,
timing.
So right now we only have the 3 beers that you're drinking on tap right now.
Yeah.
And that's just not enough to cover the styles that
No.
people want when they're here.
So,
I was going to ask Eric, like, what has it been like trying to scale this stuff up? I know you all seem to have some experience with home brewing and stuff like that, but as the numbers guy, what, like, you're just crunching away, trying to figure out how to get more beer in the space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've just been playing catch up, and I'm happy that we started a little conservative because you hear people. I mean, this brewing stuff's not cheap by any means, and
Yeah.
so you hear people starting too big, and then the market's not there, the base isn't there, and then they're like, well, crap, we just put all this money into the tanks, and we're not going to be able to use it all. So, especially for us, so young and without unlimited access to capital by any means, we had to start small. But we, super proud of how a month into opening, while we were still pretty chaotic, we really had the whole team come together to work to get these tanks in, which was no easy feat. And so, yeah, we calculated what our capacity was going to look like in the future if we remained with these 4 fermenters, and realized that, especially come this summer, we're going to be playing catch up for at least a year.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 3 beers on tap for at least a year. And we're like, okay, well, we're not doing that. And so we then obviously calculated what it would look like if we got these 2 new 10 barrels. And we'll have 8 beers on tap next Wednesday, and that's going to be more sustainable. Our goal is to get up to 16 beers on tap at once. And hopefully that can happen in before summer.
Cool.
That'll be able to sustain probably the tap house here.
Exactly.
Do you think that capacity could get you at all distributing elsewhere? Or is that still like an in-house amount of?
Yeah, it's still an
production?
in-house amount. I mean, we haven't even been able to make crowler or like fill crowlers
Oh yeah,
yet.
you can't even.
Or like throw events because we know that we're not going to run out of beer. I mean, we've been closed every Wednesday, Thursday the last month because we haven't had beer.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But keep going.
So we had our staff meeting last night, and we taught them how to fill crowlers, and so that'll be the next step in our like having 8 beers on tap. We're gonna have crowlers. People can come in and buy those. Right now, we've just been doing growlers, and I never thought in my life we'd sell so many growlers. We've been running out of growlers. You know, grandstand can only we can only buy so many, But yeah, so and kind of the crazy thing is, you know, thinking back on our original plan when we started the brewery, is we were really only going to have about half of the space. Like that was going to be the size of our tap room. So we weren't going to have any of this 169 side. It was just going to be, because that used to be, it was a real estate office. And there was
Amber Seaver at Keller Williams. She was awesome. She moved upstairs and still
she was great.
works with us.
Yep.
And she was just here today, actually.
Yeah. So there was a wall there, and we were just going to have this space in here, and we're like, there's no way we would have been able. I mean, I get
like
no
uncomfortable
idea.
thinking about it at this point because there would have been no natural light, and it would have been sad and.
The space for events would have been way less without having that corner.
Yeah. We love that brick wall back there, by the way. That's spewed with tar on it. It's actually pretty cool.
And you kept it in the bathrooms too. I noticed there was one not natural.
What it was. I mean, that was the cool part about construction, is seeing all the cool, like they call it hamburger brick on the ceiling. It was what they used in the 50s or 60s, and it really matched our vibe and our like color palette and all that.
Hamburger brick.
Hamburger brick. That. Yeah, I forget who told me that.
Maybe that'll be the name of our next beer.
Yeah.
So
hamburger brick.
So we mainly, besides this, obviously, we mainly work in events. I'm also a musician in town, so I think that's something I'd love to ask about. Is what are your plans for events? It sounds like you have once a week or so music right now. But just kind of wondering what the plan is for that.
Yeah, so right now we're kind of on a set schedule of we've been having live music Fridays and Saturdays, and we are now moving that to Fridays and Sundays just because Saturdays have been so crazy and it gets really loud in here, and we haven't put our baffles up, our acoustic baffles, so it gets a little bit loud. And then Wednesdays will be our trivia night moving forward.
Oh, fun! Is that Ben Finley hosting that?
This is Trivia Mafia. That's
oh,
gonna do it.
Okay.
So I talked with Sam, who's part of the Trivia Mafia team or spokesperson for this area, and they do like people apply, and then they will hire somebody that leads it. So cool. Sounds like somebody's already in the books for April. So that starts in April.
Fun.
And then from there, we're going to do we still haven't really figured out our Thursdays, what that's going to look like, but we're getting there. We've got some ideas in the book. We've got someone that just made some custom cribbage boards for us. And so cool. Utilizing that, and we have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, we hope to do a regular, even weekly, like family day or something, where there's bingo or something. We're very, very family friendly here.
Shout out to Ben real quick.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
Lemonberry kombucha.
Which we have a bunch of NA options. Like I'm drinking Root Beer 1919 on tap right now, which is amazing, and kombucha.
And what was this flavor again?
That one's lemonberry, I believe, that you're drinking. Yeah, this is.
That's good.
This is not ours.
This is not ours. Yeah, bootlegger from Apple Valley. Well, now Blaine. They we source them for our kombucha, and they're just freaking delicious. Yeah,
Yeah, it's tasty.
So
It's really good.
I know,
I'm not even
I
a
know.
kombucha drinker, and that is really good.
Yeah.
So much better
It's,
on tap too.
Oh yeah.
I was pretty impressed when I came in here today with the number of NA options, because you had like a whole mocktail menu, and they're like, oh, we'll just. I mean, you had one that was recommended, but there would have been a whole list of choices.
We got some cookies rolling in from
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
From River Rock Bakery, our other neighbor.
Hey, River Rock's awesome.
These are Wallies. They have walnuts in them.
Lovely.
They're so good.
Yeah, we love them. My favorite are the monster ones with the M&Ms.
I'm a salted rosemary boy.
Are you really?
I've heard a lot about
Oh,
this.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
good.
so
they're
good.
delicious.
Good, yeah.
River Rock's great.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of collaboration. I know I kind of mentioned this earlier, but like River Rock works with friend of the show Michael with his new venue, who also works
Yes.
with Art Center, who's also coming over here. Like even this single block has so much collaboration. It's
Yeah, so
cool.
Michael Callahan at, I think it's Second Story. They just opened.
Yep.
And he's a comedian and a magician, and
Yep.
I mean, just another huge
Wait,
win
he's
for St.
actually a
Peter.
magician?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a really good
Yeah.
magician.
Yes. Oh, man.
Me and him talk about it all the time. He came on our show to talk about this, and then also once just to just be Michael. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good friend of mine. A very big fan.
Cool.
We the other thing I mean St. Peter activity and stuff. We worked with the art stroll this last year,
yeah.
and that was a really cool way to see oh wow, there's
Yeah.
20 to 40 art studios in the
Yeah.
area too,
I was
and,
playing
all
at
kinds
River
of
Rock for
practicing.
that. Me and Ark were
Oh, that
over
was
at
you.
River
Cool.
Rock playing. Yes, you might have saw me.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a few artists in this building actually too. Other tenants who will be showcasing their art hopefully next year's art stroll. I mean, again, it's just there's so much happening in this town right now. Such a great arts and culture scene, and
Yeah.
it's just,
That's one of the biggest things that we wanted to highlight in our brewery was highlighting local artists. And so we got some buzzing going on. There we go. But we have, if you come into the tap room, walk straight in the back, we have this metal paddlefish
Yeah.
sculpted art that Jonas Haben. Haben.
Yep.
Gosh dang it.
Another gusty.
Jonas Haben. He built for us, made for us from scrap metal, and that kind of was a symbol. Like he really took into account all of the different characteristics of a paddlefish, and wanted to connect those dots with having it in the tap room. So like it's all scrap metal. Paddlefish eat scraps from the river, and some other, I don't know. He had a bunch of other things that he was like, he wanted to really make sure it was in the right spot. So it's step back by the bricks when you come in the tap room. Yeah, he did a great job. And we're only 2 blocks from the river here, and it's one of the biggest hot spots in the state for paddlefish. So
Really?
by far.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. Is if you
60%.
just go, sometimes I'll go and just sit underneath the bridge, and you can see those are those giant fish that
Yeah.
you can see, right?
Yeah.
Like you can see 5 or 6 of these fish that are like, I mean, they got to be like 2.5, 3 feet long, right?
yeah,
So
at least.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually seen one out of the water, but it's pretty crazy to see. There's a whole bunch of
We had a
them.
lot of people coming in, like showing us they're like, oh, we snagged a paddlefish, or my cousin did, and so we're the plan is to have a wall that showcases all these people holding paddlefish.
Though they are illegal to fish for.
They are, but you snag them. You
Yeah.
accidentally snag them because they're not.
So
they
it's a
don't-
catch and release.
Are
kind of
they
thing.
Yeah.
protected or
Very much so.
People
Yeah, they
don't
were
eat
completely
them?
gone from the state at one point, even
Really?
though they're the, I think the largest fish indigenous to Minnesota.
Yeah, they can get huge.
Huge, and they're like very dinosaur-esque. I mean,
they're like,
I think
aren't
they're
they like relatives of
prehistoric.
sturgeon?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
they're not the prettiest fish, that's for sure.
They're the coolest though,
But they're dang cool.
and my new
Yeah.
favorite fish.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and another landmark you kind of have here, if you're driving by, you'll probably notice that there's a van, and you might even be able to see it in the back of this shot through this plant. But you got a big green van. Where did this van come from?
Yeah, it just showed up one day in our tap room, and
It's very pretty.
Dang, that's cool. So that's Sweet Pea. She's my pride and joy, my little baby, and she's a 76. So she's She's like 48 this year.
We should throw a birthday. Does she have a birthday?
Today is her birthday.
That would be kind of fun to
March
do a birthday
13th.
party for
kind of fun
for Sweet
for
Pea
Sweet
every
Pea,
year.
yeah.
Happy birthday, Sweet Pea.
There we go.
Hey.
Oh, she likes that. She has been in my possession since 2019, and I bought her in Fresno, California, right before COVID hit in November. I actually got the van and my dog Izzy, who couldn't be with us today. We are a dog-friendly brewery, just FYI, and she's our mascot.
She's perfect, by the way.
She is perfect. And got Izzy and Sweet Pea within the same week of each other. And then I took Sweet Pea kind of on like a 1-year travel journey.
Oh, so it runs.
Oh yeah, she runs.
She'll be in the St. Patrick's Day parade on
she
Sunday,
will.
in fact.
Yes, she will.
Heck yeah.
Yes. And so, yes, she has been near and far, up and down the West Coast on the 1 and the 101, Route 66, and the Mississippi River Road. And then now she pretty much lives in the tap room, but like my girlfriend and I will go to like Madeline Island and Gooseberry, some state parks around in the summertime. So she still runs. We don't, actively say that just so people, don't come
the
in
key's
here and
in
try
the
to the keys in the ignition. So
I mean, they should know better than to drink and drive if they're going to be stealing a
that's
car.
true.
Gotta draw a line.
Especially when it's like plugged into 8 different things.
It better not be donked out, or what was the word you used?
Yeah.
Donked out.
Donked out.
Donked out. That's catty corner to GM over here.
Yeah, if you really want to get donked, you can just head caddy corner.
I believe I was gonged.
Yeah.
Oh, you were gonked. Yeah, which makes less sense. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, hey, when we leave here, maybe we'll be donked.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah. Is there anything we haven't touched on yet that you guys would love to get out there?
Ooh. Boy.
Now's the big chance, huh?
Yeah, now's the chance. We have, we have dreams of wanting to distribute at some point down the road. Just trying to think of future stuff, like maybe the rooftop at some point.
Whoa, that would be sick.
Things to kind of look forward to in the
I feel like people around here would go nuts for that. A rooftop.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah.
There's not another one.
Yeah. So and there's not many breweries in Minnesota, and that I think the only one that I can think of that has a rooftop is Voyager.
Shakopee
But
Brew
prove
Hall
me
is
wrong.
something that kind of it. So if you at Shakopee Brew Hall, if you go, you have to like walk through an alley, and then they have this like.
Well, they have a little.
raised patio, which is really cool. But
I could be wrong on that, but kind of things to like look forward to in the future, like just what the 5-year plan is. We talk about that, and
we're probably going to get a pilot system, which is just as like a 3/4 of a keg, and we're going to have an experimental tap going too.
Cool.
So kind of lean into that as like a weekly thing where people can try the experimental brew,
and that'll be hopefully within like the next few months for our members and
Cool.
And that
Wait,
kind of
what's a member?
Yeah, what is that?
Good segue, Dave.
Yeah, we have 2 types of memberships. We have a ceramic mug club membership that when you walk in, you'll see these 50 mugs on the wall below our tap list, and they're all made locally by ceramicist Barb Page.
Hey.
Yeah, Barb.
Has Barb been on the show?
She
Barb,
has not, but I
Okay.
know her because of my girlfriend being a gallerist
Yep.
across the street.
Cool.
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
yeah. So
nice.
Barb's
Yeah,
very
she-
active
yeah.
at the Art Center too.
Yep.
That's how we got introduced to her through them because we've worked with them.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there we go. Thank you.
Oh,
Ben.
here's a mug.
yeah.
Shout out to Ben. I wish I had a button like
Ben.
bow, 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 bow.
They're all different colors, shapes.
We can just sample that and use it every time.
Barb's great. She was just in the other day, and I realized that she has never been in the tap room while we've been open. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have we got to get her a mug.
Yeah.
So she's number 7.
So the mugs are 20 ounces, and you get beer for the price of 16, and you get a really cool mug.
Nice.
And there are some other perks so they'll have first access to our experimental beers, and
Nice.
they get discounts on merch, and so you can either get a lifetime membership,
You get a lifetime
mug,
or an annual, as Jacob just spilled on himself. There's liquid
didn't
in
realize
the
there's
mug.
beer.
Yeah, I
no,
didn't either.
it's coffee.
Yeah.
That's my mug.
Oh.
That happens.
Sorry.
But yeah, $150 for annual membership, and you get a free monthly beer. You get a crowler when you sign up. You get 3 free beer tokens, and then lifetime is $500.
Oh,
And we have 7 memberships left with our ceramic ones. Now those expire for annual, 1 year from your sign up calendar date. But then we have our Founders Club, which is you get a glass mug. Ben, where are you on that one?
Ben is our lovely one of our lovely beer tenders,
Yeah,
by the way,
Ben's
and he
great.
will be driving Sweet Pea.
Yes, he will. I will. Unfortunately, not be here this
Wow.
weekend, so Ben gets the privilege to
that's a lot of trust,
drive.
Ben.
I know. That's wild. So yeah, so our lifetime membership is $1,000 or $1,500.
Ben, 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 Ben,
Oh, there it is, right there. It's a 20-ouncer in all of her glory.
But the kicker is, you're probably wondering why it's more, but the kicker is that you get 1 free beer a day for the rest of your life. If you're a
Whoa.
lifetime
Yeah,
member.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a
And
pretty killer
you get your
deal.
name on the mug as well. That one is nameless right now, but the name will be on there, and it's all yours. Just the mugs stay in the tap room, hang out with us. But people are loving it. People are loving the mug clubs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it'll be even more fun when we do those that experimental beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be
Get
fun.
some cool deals going on. Yep. So
Heck yeah. Well, if
Heck
I
yeah.
want to support Paddlefish Brewing and keep up with what they got going on, where should I go? And also, if you all either have any personal projects you'd like our fans to know about, we'd love to hear about them quick here.
yeah. Well, we're active on Instagram, Facebook.
And that's just Paddlefish Brewing.
Yep, Paddlefish Brewing.
Cool.
And we got a newsletter that we have I think around 700 people signed up on our newsletter.
Dang, nice.
So you go to our website, paddlefishbrewing.com, scroll to the bottom, you'll see sign up for our newsletter, and that'll hook you up with, special alerts and that kind of thing. And then we are, we're always looking at highlighting local artists, whatever that, means in terms of it could be murals or paintings or photographs or that kind of thing. So we always like when people reach out to us that way. And gosh, I'm trying to think.
You can go on our website to look at a calendar of events.
Yeah, we got a lot of
and
food trucks.
A lot of food trucks, a lot of musicians, and more events that'll be coming on the way. And you can get more information about our story and our hours there too.
And then kind of our about us. If you want to hear more about our story, that kind of thing, it's fun to. My brother wrote our about us story. He's a great writer. So
Cool.
Shout out to him. He's Keith. Yeah. Check out our website. Keep posted there, and then we've got a lot of. It's just going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun year.
Heck
this
yeah.
year. Yeah. So bring your dogs, bring your kids. We've seen a lot of babies in here.
Ooh.
A lot of babies.
We card them.
Babies
Yeah, we
first
card. They get
brew.
carded. Yep. We make sure to card. The state requires us to card
Yep.
babies. So
And you got
Yeah.
some
Shameless.
beers for 'em.
Shameless self plug. Quantum Mechanics, my band, will be here May 3rd. It's also my birthday show. So come hang out.
yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna fill that stage. Let's say that.
You better. Cool.
All right. Well,
Oh man, you guys
Thank
are
you.
great.
Hey,
So are you guys.
Thanks so much for having us. Beers are delicious, so come check it out. St. Peter.
yeah.
Bin, 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 bin.
What are you talking about, Willis?
There we go.
There it is.